Someone giving it to the poor, and Jesus says, the poor you have with you always, but you don't always have me. Well, I mean, I don't believe those episodes, but Jesus comes across as pretty egocentric there. You say, well, that's fine, he's allowed to be. No, the Greek gods were egocentric, and they expected homage of that kind. And someone wrote Greek god scenes into the New Testament presentation of Jesus. I don't think our Jesus, we would think that he should say something to the poor you have with you always, you don't always have me, so like, brushing them off. But on the other side, with this woman, when they came and did the same thing to her, kissed her feet and all these sorts of things, I thought her answer was pretty good. It does something for them I suffer. In other words, she basically said to me, I don't like it. I don't like it, but I tolerate it because they need it. They need to adore somebody, basically, is what she was saying. And I thought that was a reasonable explanation. So I asked her, I don't know if I asked her, but she said, you know, at some point told me, this skin disease that I have, I suffer this. I said, yeah, right. It's from a previous incarnation. I said, oh, yeah. She said, yeah, I was a prostitute in a previous incarnation, and this is my punishment. I said, how do you know that? How do you know that? I can remember it from the previous time. But at that moment, my confidence level went down sort of immeasurably. And that's how I feel about this. I mean, these people claim that they can remember their previous lives. I'd like them to prove it. Not just to me, just prove it, period. But anyway, that's their idea. And Krishna says it here. He says, I can remember mine because I'm better than you. Arjuna, you're too stupid. You can't remember yours, but I know mine. Because basically I'm God. I'm a supernatural, superhuman being. And so I don't even say, well, if he was born so many times and had so many past lives, I mean, how come he's a supernatural being? These things are not open to rational understanding and explanations. That's what I'm trying to point out. They may be true, and I'm not saying they aren't. But you have to, in the end, like many things in Christianity and other faiths, you have to accept them on faith if you're an adherent of that particular ideology. You notice that I'm not very adherent to anything. So I apologize to those who don't like me saying things about things that are dear to them. But, only the people who are truly adherents can not just follow these things, but take them on faith. So some things I don't think you can resolve this situation. How come a supernatural being? And then the very next sentence he says, I am unborn everlasting. Well, which is it? If you're going to be reborn, I mean, if Jesus is a supernatural God, what's the difference if he goes on the cross or he doesn't? He's going to continue living anyway. If he's a supernatural God-like figure, which he ultimately seems to turn out to be. So what's he going through all this? Just to, kind of identify with mankind to a certain extent and the suffering that we have here, etc. And that that's the way it's presented. But these beings, in the end, aren't really suffering. I mean, they are, but they aren't, because they know they have confidence they're going to live forever and they're supernatural. Anyway, I don't have the answer to those things, but forget Jesus. Let's stick to Krishna, which is why I said Krishna and Jesus do have a lot in common. But Krishna says, I was born many times, and he remembers his past, but then he goes on to say that he's unborn, everlasting, and, basically Brahman. He's an incarnation of Brahman, of the divine principle, of the, whatever it is that the universe constitutes. I am the Lord of all, and I can come into the realm of nature through my wondrous power. Well, it could almost be Jesus talking there. Not quite, but similar. Okay, so you say, well, what's the answer, Professor Eisenman? I don't have it. I'm just saying that's the doctrine, and you're going to have to work that out the best you can. He goes on. I don't know if they have an idea of salvation, as 8 puts it. But he says, the fulfillment of the kingdom of righteousness, I come to the world in the ages that passed. Again, I'm not sure they have an idea of the kingdom of righteousness the way Christianity has the kingdom of heaven and so on, but something similar is being said, and I'm not sure what the word should be because this is from Sanskrit, but you can kind of feel your way through this. He who knows my birth as a god, and who knows my sacrifice when he leaves his mortal body, goes no more from death to death,